everyone, I'm Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in creating this Gambit Bracelet featuring some of our newest addition here at Potomac Beads. The QuadBow, the PieDuo, as well as the WaveTrio bead. You can gather all your materials at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu to make this fun new design. Let's go ahead and get started. So to get started on our design, I have laying in front of me the PieDuos in the white color, QuadBows in jet, WaveTrios in gold, 15 O's in the Crystal Lab Full, 11 O's in my gold, 3mm Potomac Crystal rounds in jet, and a cup button. I'm working with some .006 white wildfire thread, about 5 feet is on my needles. I'm going to begin with 2 needles, so I have one piece of 5 feet, a needle on either end, and my white cup button. On either side of my needles here, just to practice with my needle and thread, one side I want you to put on an 11 or 3mm and an 11. Let that drop down to the middle of your needles here, and you want to make sure that you're still holding your needles up here, that there's equal amount of thread on either side. I'm going to take my cup button and put my right needle through the one hole, left needle through the other hole. Again, pull the needles at the same exact time, and that's just going to decorate up the middle of the button. Coming out the back of the design here, I want you to add 1 and 2 and 3 of your 11 O's. 1, 2, 3 11 O's as well. Let those drop down next to your design, and now we're going to begin right away with the center of the Gambit bracelet. For the center of the bracelet, we are going to begin by adding our QuadBow bead, and I'm adding 1 needle through the second hole and 1 needle through the third hole. While it's here, I'm going to pick up my PieDuo and put it through so that way it sits right in that groove. So we went in through the outer edge of the QuadBow, and we're going into the edge of the PieDuo as well. Coming out there, separate out the needles and put 1 15-0 on the right needle, 1 15-0 on your left needle. Now I know some of you are asking, can I do this with 1 needle? Absolutely. You'll just do one side and then you'll come back the other side. This is just the quicker way to do it. From here, you're going to pick up your first WaveTrio. The WaveTrios are going to sit so that we're using the outer holes. So we're not even ever going to use that center hole. You're going to pick up with your right side the outer hole that sits to the right on the curvature or the outer edge of one of the WaveTrios. On the left, same deal, needle through. So you're not going through that center hole at all, and you're doing it so that the bump up is in the middle, is at the top. Coming out of there, you're going to add a 15, 3mm, 15. And again, because we are working with 2 needles, whatever you do with the right, you're also doing with the left. It's mirror image. Let that drop down next to your design and pick up your next WaveTrio bead, this time facing the opposite direction. So when you place it down next to the previous one, it encapsulates and holds in those crystals in the middle of the design. From here, we're going to repeat the same pattern, but backwards. Looks like a little Mr. Potato Head there. From here, 15 on either needle. Then you're going to pick up your PieDuo, this time through the center slice of the pie, the middle there. Pick up your next QuadBow through those 2 holes, again, so that it's sitting facing one another, and push that down toward the last of the design. And there you have it. From here, we're going to do a connection spot in the middle, and then we're going to repeat the pattern. So the connection spot in the middle is going to be 11, 15, 11, 11, 15, 11. Once you're done that, so simple, we're just starting the pattern over again. So again, you're going to grab your QuadBow into those 2 holes, grab your PieDuo into those 2 holes, etc., etc. Letting it drop down next to the design and starting that same design over, and it'll repeat the whole base of the bracelet. At the end of adding your base here, it is time to go in and make your loop for your cup button. I have 5 of my little sections, just so you know, in case you need length for a 7 1/4 inch wrist. I'm going in here and I am going to come out of the last QuadBow And just like we did the other side, I'm going to add 2 of my 11-0 seed beads on both the right and the left needle. Let them drop down next to the design. And then just to change it up a little bit, when I make loops for my buttons to go into, I prefer them that they come to a V first. It makes for a much nicer fit. So what I'm going to do is take my thread and needle, both of them, through one of my 3mm crystals. I'm going to drop those down next to the piece. You can see that just creates a little bit of a V now. From here, what I'm going to do is pick up 26 of my 11-0 seed beads with both my right and my left needle going through in the same design. So I'm going to pick all of these up, string them on with one needle, let them fall on the thread a little bit, and string my other needle through those same 26 to 28 beads. Once you have those 28 beads on through both thread and needles, I'm going to take my first needle and go through the 3mm bead as well as down through the first bead on the left-hand side. With my other thread and needle on the other side, I'm going to go down through that same 3mm bead and out the bead on the right-hand side. Give a nice tight pull with both threads so that way you don't have any extra thread showing. And push everything down. So I like to pull down on that 3mm bead there. Kind of pull up on that first thread, equal it out, and then pull your right thread, pull your left thread. Separating out here, we want to get to the 4th and the 1st hole of our QuadBow bead. So I'm going to take 1, 2, and 3 of my 15-0s, and the needle on the right, go down the right-hand side of your QuadBow there. Needle on the left, same deal. 3 15s, and then down through the outer hole of the QuadBow. That gets your clasp on and gets you ready to go to come down the sides of the project. To come down the sides of the project then, we are going to go nice and simple. You can go down the right-hand side a little bit and then the same thing down the left-hand side. I'm going to add 1 11-0 seed bead, followed by 1, 2, and 3 15-0s. Go back through my WaveTrio 15 3mm 15 and out. Now what we're going to do is the same thing backwards. 3 15s, 1 11, and into the QuadBow. Once you get one side done, flip over. Do the exact same thing on the other side. So we're doing 1 11, followed by 1, 2, and 3 of your 15-0 seed beads. Sew through the WaveTrio and the 3 beads that sit in the middle, and out the WaveTrio on the other side. Same thing out the other side, 1, 2, 3 15s, 1 11, and into that 3rd hole of, or I'm sorry, the 4th hole of that QuadBow. So that's going to be that exterior there to finish that one set. Coming out then of the QuadBow, you can see the effect that you get and the pattern that you're going to do. I've done the first one here in between, and you're going to have 4 spaces in between. And I wanted to show you that first one before we do it. It's the exact same each time. When you're coming out of the exterior holes of the QuadBow, I want you to pick up 1 of your 11-0, followed by 2 15-0s. Remember that 15-0 that we stuck in the middle there of the 2 11s? You're going to grab onto that and sew through just the 15-0, followed by 2 15-0s, 1 11, and then back in to your QuadBow. Same thing on the other side, 1 11, 2 15s, through the 15 on the opposite side. Once you're through that 15 on the opposite side there, you're going to go in and add 1 and 2 more 15s, 1 11, and then into that exterior hole of the QuadBow bead. And you can see how that sits in just kind of that nice little X fashion there. From here, you're going to continue on then with that same addition of the 11-0s and the 15-0s, and then catching on to that 15-0 that sits in the middle. When you get to the end of the design, after going through and adding in all your little seed bead connectors there, you're going to go in and add 3 15-0s on both the right and the left. Skip over the first 11-0 seed bead, so we're mimicking the other side. I'm coming up through the clasp, which is my button. If you have a regular clasp, a push clasp card in Potomac's clasp, this is where you would also reinforce that one as well. When I come up through the button, I try to make sure to come up as well through the seed bead. Since the button has a curvature to it, it makes it harder to come through that seed bead after you're already at the top. And then I'm coming down to the other side. You can see on the other side, I already had it to the top of the button. I'm going to go through the crystal, through my 11-0 seed bead, down to the other side. Once I come down to the other side here, I'm going to get my thread and needle back to the same side here in the design, so that way I can tie off the thread. To do so, I'm going to go down through my 15-0s on the right-hand side here, or the left, up to you. I'm going to sew down through my quad bow. Sew up through my quad bow. Up through the 11-0 that sits above. And because you're using white thread and a white bead there, you really won't see it. Add 1 more and 2 more 15-0s. So down through the 11-0 that's next to it. And that just bridges that gap there. And back up through the last hole. This is going to bring my thread and needle out to the same place in the design. And then I'm simply going to tie my thread ends off right there. So I'm going to tie these 2 thread ends off, but when tying off the thread ends, I'm keeping the needle attached there. Because I have this 2 needle section, I don't want to see a lot of thread ends and burn them off there, both there. So what I'm going to do is take one of them and hide it right behind the button, bringing my thread out right after the seed beads. And then the other one I'm going to tuck into the 11-0 seed bead and down the opposite way. Take my thread burner or my threads up and burn off my thread edges on either end. Burn them flush down then next to the project, making sure not to burn the thread that's attached to the clasp or the project. And there you have it. So nice, simple, and easy, up and back, and it gives for a nice classy look. I like the Art Deco look of it. I did the white and black gambit because it reminded me of chess pieces and also of an hourglass, kind of going either way. There's a lot of great features of this beautiful gambit bracelet. As always, thank you so much for watching and hopefully enjoying your Gambit bracelet. It's going to be really fun to see what different colors people make this in. Remember, you can always comment below the video, give helpful hints to other beaders in this community, ask any questions that you may have, or even give ideas. Love to hear them. Remember also, if you haven't yet, to subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. If you do need any supplies, you can also check out the links below to shop with us online. Remember to post your design and join in the amazing community that we have on our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. As always, thanks so much for watching and enjoy our newest selection of beads in your very own Gambit bracelet.